I think you're being shy, sir. I know for a fact that you have written this woman a love poem. It's just that you're too bashful to deliver it in public. I, however, am not too bashful to deliver it in public. It is a poem this man wrote for you, madam. It is a love poem. A poem entitled, I Bought a Cheese and Thought of You. I bought a cheese and thought of you. The meat was white and dappled blue, its rind a bead with musky dew. I bought a cheese and thought of you. I'm not done. I bought a cheese and thought of thee, thy cream-poured flesh, sweet ecstasy. Between those thighs, what roiling sea! I bought a cheese and thought of thee. I thought of thee and thought it fine to pair thee with a deep red wine, to spread thee on the crusts of time. I thought of thee, a thought divine. I held my cheese and thought inside, how wrong my love be so denied. My cheese grew soft and warm. I sighed. I held my cheese, thus turned the tide. I took my cheese and thought of you. Wild appetites engorged and grew. The flesh gave part, thus one was two. I took my cheese. To hell with you! Yes, that is the poem for deteriorating relate. I didn't put my codpiece on. I'm so sorry. I've got a codpiece, but I only wear it during the show. Because people at this festival, they get drunk and they grab at the first thing that appeals to them. So I don't wear it out on the streets very often. I only wear it during the show. I should put it on because it's more thematically consistent with what you're about to hear. This is a codpiece that I've named The Gentle Giant. I got it at a second-hand prophylactic store. A place called Brace Yourself for Re-Entry. Chose a good time to come in, didn't you? I got a much larger codpiece backstage that I will not wear on a festival day. It's got 3 prongs and 7 different terror settings. I named that one Leviticus chapter 4, verse 12. Madam, you have inspired me to write a poem in your honor. It shall be entitled Ode to a Plunging Neckline. Sweet double handfuls of inspiration, impertinent meat sacks of Eros, lower thy curtain, let shine thy beams, for the night is newborn, and thy moons be full. Thank you very much. A poem for the man in the Texas Rangers hat. I haven't written it, but one day it shall be called Ode to Seasonal Disappointment. A poem for the woman sitting over there shall be entitled Ode to a Woman Sitting Dangerously Close to the Same Wall that I pee on every day. Wow, that really didn't work very well now, did it? Are you two together? Are you married?
We're not married.
You're what?
We're together.
You're together. Have you ever thought of marriage?
Yes.
Yes, you don't seem too committed to the idea. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this show in my audience's hands because it's a little bit early yet. So what I'm going to do is ask you a question. The question is this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most wildly inappropriate of my poems, what would you like to hear? 10. Oh, look, suddenly it's an auction, isn't it? Let me ask you again. Son, I just want to ask you, how old are you? 12. When I was your age, I would have quite liked to come to a show like this. Just not with my parents. You're welcome to stay at this show because if I'm honest with myself, I would have to say that this is how I got my own start. Telling my parents I was going off to vacation Bible camp, but instead pausing to meander down Old Pie Street in the seedy district of London to peer through a small hole in the side of a flop house called the Cram-It Inn. I just want you all to know what kind of a show you're in for, and this man, on a scale of 1 to 10, this bloody little heathen right over here, has asked for a 10. Is this all right?
We're waiting on Iris and Rose.
I don't know. I don't know why that's supposed to be comforting to me. That information. All right. Here, son. Before I do this poem, I just want to give you this because I do feel bad for your mom. It's $1. I want you to have this. It's for you. I want you to take that $1 and go buy some parenting. Okay, settle down. I will not negotiate with terrorists. If you take that $1 to Canada, the parenting is subsidized, by the way. Well, this is a poem that I wrote, as I've written all my poems as I am a poet. I am not a cover poet. It is entitled, I Built My Love a Menstrual Hut. It is a 10. Now, if at any point during the recital of this poem, if you find it's too much, if I've gone too far, if you're suddenly overcome by an inclination for parental responsibility, just try to keep in mind that you fuckers asked for 10. Welcome back to Texas, Arthur. I built my love a menstrual hut. Look how many people are crowding in now to see this great display of their responsibility in a childhood adrift on a sea of neglect. I built my love a menstrual hut. I built it out of clay. With earthen halls and wattled walls, I built it far away, that I might have some solitude when twixt her thighs she leaks. Away, my love, get thee to hut, and stay you for a week. And stay a while till calm returns, that I won't have to bear thy grinding voice and hissing tongue that claws my inner ear. For I've got work to do, you know, and I can't keep my head. My love, she bursts in tears, then flings herself upon the bed. And oh, what stench, my bleeding one! 'Tis like a stagnant fen. It smells as if Lake Nether Clam hath turned itself again. Are we all right? Very male response to that question, I see. I feel that I may have divided the audience in half. Should I keep going? Yeah. The dogs have gathered at the door. They think I've slain a lamb. The vultures fix their baleful eyes upon that wounded clam. They think I'm making dinner for the stench hangs thick and strong. And if I had a bouillon cube, they wouldn't be far wrong. So low her lips, they leave a trail, as from a pilgrim slug. But must she drag her meat flaps across my oriental rug? Please, son, stop looking at me. How could you possibly eat during this? May I get you some ketchup with that? panties at her, that's MEATFLAPS, with panties at her ankles, my love shuffles across the room. It's boo-hoo-hoo and lag each time she's on her moon. Almighty Christ, her voice is shrill like nails against a slate. And I can't find a quiet place to go and masturbate. I bet someone will, though. Are of age. Who am I talking about? So am I. We've got these two children in the back of the audience there. They look like the kids from The Shining. Don't ask her for a reach around. She'll beat you with a rock. I suppose I'm to apologize because I have a cock. I need sex, yet so much blood 'tis more than I can take. If blood was what I wanted, hell, I'd fucking uncooked steak. Please don't laugh at that, it's not funny. People are trying to eat. So out to flame thy changing moods and wring thine anxious hands. Go hence to burn thy dinner too, and mag some other man. I hie thee to that sodden hut, to wail without surcease. Sweet minstrel hut, I built thee well. At last I'll have my peace. That was a period piece. And I would like to announce that for the first time this year, that poem and everything you've heard so far is available in this, my first complete volume of poetry, entitled A Gentleman's Treasury of Bedtime Verses to Sodomize By. It has everything you've heard and much, much more. It is wildly inappropriate. It is deeply offensive. It is biologically invasive. And I think you bastards would enjoy it very much. It will be for sale after the show. The human ear has a natural affinity for poetry. As soon as children learn how to speak, they begin formulating rhymes and chants. And sometimes I think that we laugh at something almost exclusively because of its rhyme or its meter. For example, if I was to say to you, I know of a woman who expectorates vaginally during intercourse. See, nobody really laughs at that. But if I was to say, Gerter the squirter with a giny that sloshes, you can lie with her, boys, but be warned, wear galoshes. Well, that's quite a different experience altogether now, isn't it? That is why so many of my poems are metered and they rhyme. It seems to bring people along a little bit better. And as I watch this man eating, I am reminded of a poem that is a food-centric poem. I should like to do it for you now. Because a while ago it was my supreme misfortune to be invited to the Duchess of Kensington's for dinner. And as offensive as the meal itself was, the dessert was infinitely worse. In fact, it was less of a dessert and really more of a human rights violation on a platter. But I was able to force it down, and on the third day, when my fever broke and I stopped the bleeding, I wrote this poem. It is entitled The Tewkesbury Pudding. Oh, the Tewkesbury pudding's a wretched dessert. Just the slightest of bites and your prostate will hurt. Your liver will swell and your colon will squirt and you'll blow a brown stain up the back of your shirt. Oh, the Tewkesbury pudding's a terrible treat. They say it's a bread, but you'll swear it's a meat. And it's hardly a thing for a Christian to eat. It'll wrinkle the ends of your grandfather's teeth. It chews like placenta. Yes, oh, is that too much? Did I go too far? Put her head. Is that all right? Good, I'll say it again. It chews like placenta. Yes, oily and black. If you see one outside, tie it up in a sack. You can give it away, but it always crawls back, for it tastes like the drip from a camel toe's crack. Bingo. I like your laugh, madam, because most women laugh the other place. They laugh like this. But But you laugh like this. Oh! Capito's crack. Oh, it's evil, immoral, and bad to the core, and it's cursed with a smell I find hard to ignore. It'll shoot out your ass, but you'll ask for some more. Why, I split one last night with a preoperative whore. Oh, the Tewksbury pudding is worse than you think. It enlarges the heart, but your penis will shrink. I don't know why I pointed at you, madam, on that line. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. But your penis will shrink. When you're done shitting blood, well, you'll need a stiff drink. Jesus Christ, light a match, hit the fan, clean the sink. It'll cripple your gut with intestinal flu. It'll ripple your twat like a fleshy kazoo. Throw your hands to the sky and ask God what to do. Make the sign of the cross, even though you're a Jew. Are we all right? I've noticed that it's recently become rather fashionable when we offend someone these days to apologize by saying that it was a poor choice of words. There will be no such nonsense at this show. Rest assured that if you feel any offense, all of my words have been meticulously selected for freshness, economic agency, and good old-fashioned colon puckering shock value. Are you enjoying the show? Slightly. Well, are your parents enjoying the show? Not at all. Well, let's see if we can even increase their discomfiture. What I would like to do, son, is ask you on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the most wildly inappropriate of my poems, what would you like to hear? 7. Wow, you're awfully young to have a sense of foreplay. 7. Where did it go? I heard something drop. I think it may have been my arm. Where did it go? I have something that is a 7, but I need to get it. I don't usually get many 7s from this. They trap the poet in. You want to meander your way up, so I've got a poem for you. There are many odes in the English canon of literature, and when a poem assumes a more reflective nature about it, we call it an ode. There are many great odes. John Keats wrote some of my favorite odes, and the poet Shelley wrote an ode to the west wind, to which I have responded with my own ode to the north by northwest wind, traveling at 10 to 15 knots, but tapering off to 5 knots by Tuesday. A while ago, I was walking through a great forest, and I encountered a tree with the most alluring formation on the side of it. As I stared at this formation, I found myself in a state of deep arousal, and so I hurried home to compose this poem. It is a poem entitled Ode. To an extremely provocative knothole. Son, always wet the fingers first. I'll be damned if you don't get an education at this show. You know, it's one thing to enjoy that, it's another thing entirely to applaud it. Thou hole, thou lurid lusty hole, the spreading cherry bears her soul. She spills her lobed and liquid lips, and bids the sap rise between my hips. What fleshy knots arouse my sense to sweet bilabial recompense. Fair hole, oft times I've walked alone, in verdant forests overgrown, to breathe I'm sorry, sir, I can see your head in my hole. So that's what it means to be born again, I suppose. I was all right till you winked at me. To flee the soured memory of woman's love fast fled from me. 'Twas all for naught, for now I see the fairest holes do grow on trees, while woman's form but grows distressed and hangs in sad cascades of flesh. And those teats that gravity once cheated, in time must flop to earth defeated. But thou, fair hole, makest my mood lighter, to think next year thou wilt be tighter. I would that I had wood enough to stuff inside thy mossy muff. I'd strip thy bark, I'd tap thee tree, I'd poke thy precious chokecherry, or would I stroke thy pokeberry? It matters not, thy hole's for me. Thank you very much. Sometimes I feel that I should apologize for my sense of humor. But the truth of the matter is, thank you, dog, for wagging your head no. I appreciate the support. But the truth of the matter is that you don't get the luxury of choosing your own sense of humor. I don't know why I find such things amusing. I mean, even when I go out to dine, I feel compelled to order my eggs cooked doggy style. I suppose you do the same thing now, don't you? About a year ago, I was performing the show at a festival like this one, but up in New York. And they put me on the same stage as Christoph the Insulter. We're very good friends, and they put all the dirty acts in one convenient location. And on the last day of the festival, some good Christian folk came out, and they decided to pamphlet the entire fair. They handed out literature to the shops and the actors and the crafters. But for some reason, they avoided our stage. And Christoph took this personally. He said to me, "Why did we not receive any pamphlets?" And I pointed out to him, "Well, you do not pamphlet Mordor." All these people, yes, one was not strictly. Now, I'm telling you this because we had a 10 from this gentleman, and this man in restraint asked for 6. But
7.
my poem, 7. My poems go far, far beyond that. So I would like to ask you, sir, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you like to hear?
42.
42. 69, that's nice. Now to stick your thumb up your ass, we'll call it a 70. Underground numbers, that's the problem. 42, that's what you want. Well, look who's ordering off the menu. Yes, I shall do this one. This is a poem that I wrote, as I've written all my poems as I am a poet. It is entitled A Hearthside Conversation. Now, I only ask you to give this poem a few verses to warm up, and if at any point, forget it. It doesn't matter anymore, does it? I will say that on a scale of 1 to 10, this poem is the moral equivalence of the papal reign of Sergius III. Look it up, you heathens. Sorry. I'm very sorry for what you're about to hear. Where go you, my father? By the way, I think that this poem is precisely what your parents deserve. Where go you, my father? Good father, where now? You pace by the door, you furrow your brow. Good son, I go nowhere, I stay here with thee. I thought I heard voices and got up to see. But father, sweet father, you smell of cologne. Your bodkin is washed and your mustache is combed. You glance at your watch and you pull at your beard. Where go you, my father? Why stay you not here? Wee daughter of mine, why speak you this way? I'll soon go to sleep, for I've had a long day. I'm not going out, I stay here instead. Now, please, my good children, repair you to bed. Oh, husband of mine, where go you, my love? You've saddled the horse and you put on your gloves. What business should take you away from our home? Tell us, dear husband, what bids thee to roam? God damn it, to hell. If you must know the truth, I'm off to the whorehouse to pump me a few. I'm hard as a millstone, but what do you care? You've not flashed that hoo-hash in over a year. You notice the horse and my gloves and my watch, but you don't seem to notice this bulge in my crotch. I suppose it's not worthy of mention from you. Well, screw it, I'm horny. And here's what I'll do. I'll grab me a whore and I'll lift up her skirt and I'll pound that sweet meat till my testicles hurt. I don't care if she's toothless, obese, or infected. My poor little fatty's been sadly neglected. Get back here, you bastards. You ask so you'll hear. I'll slam my good ham in the first derriere. I've got buckets of chowder just waiting to fly. I've never done anal, but I'm willing to try. I'm so sorry I pointed at you, sir. But I'm willing to try. I might pleasure a lesbian, or fondle a moose, or fist up a nun till she's sloppy and loose. Are we all right? Have we gone too far? Is that too much? Jesus Christ, people. I'll find me a milkmaid, a fill in her paily, and I'll bibble her hips with my beefy shillelagh. I'll do me a penguin, though the cold gives me shrinkage, but I'll poke through that pink with my wee Peter Dinklage. I'll find me a bumpkin who's stupid and dull, and I'll dick knock the very last tooth from his skull. You know, I'd like to say something about poetry at this point, because that's what poetry does, isn't it? It furnishes us with new imagery. And what is a new image but a new thought? I mean, really, how many of us have ever thought of dick knocking a tooth out before? Well, there it is, and now you have. And hasn't your world tilted just a little bit? And for those of you who have thought of dick knocking a tooth out, what has that image done for you? It's told you that a poet from another time, another culture, another country has had the same thoughts as you have. The same yearnings and the same desires. In other words, we've all been united in this poem. United in dick-knocking, perhaps, but united nonetheless. And for that I say, hurrah for poetry. Shall I continue?
Yes.
I might ass rape a Quaker, or cream pie an elf, and there's things I might do when I'm all by myself. I might put on a bodice and stroll by the docks and give 'em a scare when I unleash my cock. Sorry, it went off to the right like that. And if I get bored, hell, I'll butter a midget. Tickle his wink hole, eat goo, and watch how he fidgets. By the way, when you end a line of poetry with the word midget, you'd rather paint yourself into a corner, don't you? I'm sick of this house. I'm sick of charades. I am sick of Parcheesi. I want to get laid. So screw you. I'm leaving this mirthless gray hut. I shan't be back soon. So please, don't wait up. Are we all right?
Yes.
Would you like to hear